here we are, we're outside 76 Pathfield Road, Streatham, Southwest 16. This is the home of Ken Bailey, of the famous Benext Affix. There you see a painting above the door of Champion Benext Bow, and I'm about to ring the bell, find out whether Ken is home. And indeed he is. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Ken Bailey, age 65 years. This is the lounge, and this little Yorkshire Terrier is a little bitch by the name of Charlie, Ken's constant companion. As you see, over the years, Ken has collected a number of artifacts and memorabilia associated with the breed, these being early Regency bulldogs, and as Ken tells me, this particular painting was painted in 1780 by a daughter of French nobility. Very good examples they are. What a lovely painting that is. The walls of the home reflecting the past and the present with this little bitch, Benext Black Beauty. This being Champion Benext Bow, and I think it's fair to say this dog has been used by just about everyone as an example of what depicts a Staffordshire Bull Terrier, and he has appeared on everything from plates to tea towels. Incidentally, Ken has never made any money out of this exploitation of his dog. His dog appears on letterheadings and God knows what else. And here you see a coloured lithograph of The Bull Broke Loose. In fact, this title doesn't exactly quantify what in fact is happening here. Bull baiting in the 17 and 1800s was commonplace, and the dogs which you see in this particular lithograph bear some relation to Staffordshire Bull Terriers in that they were the original progenitors of the breed as we have it today. These dogs having the makeup more of a Regency bulldog, which you had seen in the painting we saw a little earlier. This is the Westminster Pit. I think it's interesting to note that Ken, like many other fanciers, collects this type of material not to glorify dogfighting, but merely to ensure that this sort of material is preserved for the future, not to be glorified. There we have a picture of Ken and Gwen, the late Gwen Bailey. Over the years, Ken has collected many pieces of cut and lead crystal glass, and there you see the Benext shield, which was created by Ken and Gwen. Ken likes to play snooker, and of course he relaxes frequently and plays the piano. And here you see Ken on the piano. top of the stairs, we find the most sunniest room in the house. This would be considered by most people, I think, to be a little bit of paradise when considering Staffordshire Bull Terriers. The walls reflect treasured memories of past glories, pictures of old friends, people like the Dudleys, Gwen and Gerald Dudley from the north, George Walton, chairman of the Staffordshire Bull Terrier Club, here seen with Benext Story. Here you see in the centre Jimmy and Vi Russ, and here you see Joe Mallon, Freddie Phillips, Arthur Baxter, and there's Joe Mallon, the man who had Champion Gentleman Jim. Prints, a variation of memorabilia. Old prints and various other material. And here we have Ken browsing through the photograph album. And our first picture is a photograph taken in the year 1929 when Ken was but 7 years of age. Ken is second from the left, little chubby lad, and on his right hand shoulder his brother is holding their pet family bitch, a Staffordshire Bull Terrier by the name of Kit. She was fawn, and this photograph was taken of her when she was about 14-15 months of age. Ken came from a family of 17 children and was born at the Elephant and Castle in London. Ken's related stories about how he used to go ratting with Kit, and he used to get the rats, cut the tails off and take them to the local council health office, where they used to pay a farthing a tail. A very good way of achieving extra pocket money. This photograph takes us on to the year 1942, when Ken Baby enlisted into the Merchant Marine. He served as a Thames gunner aboard ships which escorted convoys across the perilous oceans of the world. And it was at the outbreak of war that Kit, his Staffordshire Bull Terrier, was put to sleep. He returned from the war in the year 1945, and he took up where he'd left off with his Staffordshire Bull Terriers. Now this bitch that you see here is a bitch called Lady Lucy. Ken already had a bitch by the name of Mistress Mitzi, and he mated a dog called Champion Godfrey's Pride to Mistress Mitzi in order to get this bitch, Lady Lucy. And there you see a photograph of Champion Godfrey's Pride, who's a well-used dog, and there the result, Lady Lucy again. And Lady Lucy was shown, and here you see her at the Bath Championship show in the year 1951. The judge being Rumid Timmins in the centre, Ken on the left with Lady Lucy taking the bitch CC, and on the right you see Godella's Pride. It's interesting that both the dog and the bitch CC winner on this day were sired by none other than Champion Godfrey's Pride. Interesting point to note here is that Ken believes himself to have been the first breeder to cross a J-line bitch with an M-line dog, the M-line dog being Champion Godfrey's Pride and the J-line bitch being Lady Lucy. This now takes us to 1951. This dog that you see here is a dog called Monty, and he was bred by Ken's brother. Just in front of him you'll see a little bitch, puppy, and her name was Wendy. This photograph was taken outside Ken's cafe, which he ran in the Southampton Way of London. In fact, it was Southampton Way, Camberwell. There you see yet another photograph of Monty. You see what a sizable dog he was. Ken estimates that he went above 17 inches obviously in the region of 50 odd pounds. He looks a very active sort of dog. And here's a picture of Ken and Gwen walking along the high street with the same dog, Monty. And our story now moves to 1963 with this bitch, Pamiranda Christabel, who was out of Bankhead Bullet and Welcome Clarabella. And there you see her at 14 years of age out on the right. Dear old girl. And again as a young bitch. And she was mated to a dog called Gwen's Danny Boy, that you see here. He was bred by Ken and Gwen Bailey and owned by the gentleman on the right here, Peter Snow. And it's interesting to note this dog, Constone's Eastaff Thistle-Do, was the sire of Gwen's Danny Boy. And of course Constone's Eastaff Thistle-Do was the grandsire of Pamiranda Christabel, and they both went back to this dog called Champion Troglodyte. And here we have Gwen's Danny Boy again. As I say, both these animals were line bred to Troglodyte, both coming via Constone's Eastaff Thistle-Do. Here we have Pamiranda Christabel on the right, and on the left here we have Beauty B, which was the result of that particular mating. Pamiranda Christabel was bred by a gentleman by the name of George Fleming, a Midlander residing in London. And there we have Beauty B. Beautiful headed bitch she was. Short muzzle, good underjaw, nice round eye, deep through skull, good stop, a very balanced, typical head. Some would say a classic, in fact. And here we have her again, this being old Super 8 film, so we apologise for the quality of it. And there's Ken in the garden with her. Of course, it's extremely handy that we've got these films so that we're able to let people that never saw this particular specimen see her now. Of course, Ken and Gwen Bailey always liked to record everything on film. If one's at a show and you see flash guns popping or cine films being taken, you can bet your life that Ken Bailey is in there somewhere. And I can only say that it's a jolly good thing that he was of that disposition. Otherwise we wouldn't have this film to look at. So we're grateful that this is available. There's a still shot of her to give you an idea of proportion. And there we have Gwen handling her. Notice how Ken lowers that lead. He always knocks the lead down. In fact, if you ever have the opportunity of showing a dog or a bitch under him, you might like to note that he doesn't like to see the lead raked up. He doesn't like the dog to be hanging on the end of the lead. People that stretch leads up invariably are disguising poor fronts, amongst other things. But Ken Bailey has hard and fast ideas about how dogs should be shown, presented. There's a nice still shot of her to give you an idea of her head proportion. As I say, he doesn't like to see an animal raked up. When they are he'll knock the lead down. I've even seen him take the lead out of the hands of the handler. Well, of course, this particular bitch achieved 3 cc's and then retired. And in her retirement she produced this dog, this being champion Benext Beau as a puppy. We arrive at him via a dog called Ulsterville Major, a dog which was bred by a gentleman by the name of E. Stewart, and of course Ulsterville Major was out of Badgerley Satan, who came down via champion Relima Boy, and Outlaw's Queenie was Ulsterville Major's dam, and that was predominantly Lynxbury bred. This is Benext Beau, I think, of about 4.5 months of age. There we have him at about 15 weeks of age. One can see the promise that the dog had at that time. He did have potential. It was clear to see. There we have him at 3 years of age. A nice head study of him, I think, coming up. And an even better one, I think. Certainly had a nice head. It was a nicely balanced dog overall. There's his pedigree for you. It's easier to see it when it's written down. Now this part of our film moves on to 1973. This is at the Birmingham Championship Show, and the judge on this occasion was Albert Eastwood. There you see Ken taking Benext Beau down to be looked at, and we're showing you a bit of slow motion here. There's a reason for this. Over the years, rumours have abounded about how this dog moved. Some have said he couldn't move without skipping on every 4th step because he was too closely coupled. Others have invented fanciful stories that the dog had metal pins in his legs, and many other things have been said about this dog, much of which was derogatory, and I think uncalled for. A lot of jealousy abounded in these times, as it always does. If you've got a big winner, you can expect to be hated. That is how the dog show game works. Very few big winners are loved. Everybody loves you if you're a loser. And whilst we're going through some slow motion here, let's just reflect upon how many cc's Benext Beau actually did win. Well, he received his first cc in 1969 at Brighton and Hove under Nat Cairns. Then at Darlington under Mrs. Hemstock, the Southern Counties Staffordshire Bull Terrier Society under Kim Fenson, the LKA under Betty Eastwood, Paynton, Joe Wiley, Welks, Teresa Miller, North Western Staffordshire Bull Terrier Club under Eddie Pringle, the Parent Club under Malcolm Bohm, National Terrier Gerald Dudley, Manchester Championship Show Albert Ainley, Welks Gerald Dudley, Richmond Dom Wilkes, South Wales Lionel Hemstock, the Parent Club again George Walton, the LKA Arthur Baxter, South Wales Albert Ainley, City of Birmingham Albert Eastwood, and Crufts, of course, in 1973 under Gwen Dudley. So in all that gives us 18 cc's, and I believe he took 12 reserve cc's. So we have at least 12 judges who judged him at championship show level who didn't consider him worth the cc. Those people were Vic Pounds, Frank Burford, Colin Smith, Harry Wall, June Horsfall, George Hayes, Ernie Bywaters, Nat Cairns, Eddie Pringle, Arnold Thomas, Percy Topman and Abe Harkness. Of course, I should point out that Nat Cairns had already given him a cc, so had Eddie Pringle. And now the judge is looking at the dog and he's bringing him out. So Ken has won the class here. The second is Ashdock Maximilla, and third, Pitbull Jeff's Pal, yes. I'm afraid I can't see who the others are. And there you see the dog, balanced little specimen that he was. 15.5-inch dog, weighing 38 pounds. Skull measurement, a girth of 18 inches and a muzzle length of 2.5 inches. He was definitely a classy little dog. He wasn't perfect, but what Stafford is perfect. Thing is, he had more virtuosity than those who were competing at that time. That's why the dog did so much winning. You couldn't ignore him. He's a flashy little dog, and his performance in the ring was always exemplary. And now Ken's been given the cc, the hand goes in the air, and I think you're going to find a dog is above his head. That's right. What a lovely picture that is. There's no doubt this was a lovely dog. No doubt at all. Doesn't matter if you want big ones, little ones, bully ones, terrier ones. This dog was a good dog. That must be said. And I don't say it because I'm making this film. I say it because I actually believe the dog was a good dog. There's Ken above the head with the dog. This didn't used to go down very well. A lot of people hated this. However, Ken did it because he was the proverbial showman, as was the dog. But some people considered he was rubbing salt in the wounds of those who come second, third and fourth and so on. And there's a lovely picture there of Benext bow on Ken's shoulder. There's Ken and Gwen having a celebrationary drink. And now this is other film. This is much later in Benext Bow's life. And I think what we're viewing here are some Staffords, all related to Benext Bow, or probably bred by Ken and Gwen, that have turned up on a Sunday morning to be looked at and to put through their paces for the video camera. Or in then times, of course, it wasn't a video camera, it was a cine camera. One must remember. Now this dog, this chap here was Sandy Reeves. He owned Garth and Billy, a dog that was out of Benext Bow who won a cc. I'm afraid I don't know who the young boy is. And there's some of the Benext stock. This red bitch that we're seeing here, she was directly from Benext Bow. And a Scottish bitch, I think it was a Carndurg bitch that she was bred to, that he was bred to produce her. And at this stage, I think Benext Bow was getting on. He would have been about 9-10 years of age. Notice he's laying back a bit. Not what he was, but then again, everything shrinks as you get older. This probably would be a grandson of Benext Bow, possibly even a son, because he was still siring stock at that time. There's that little bitch I was just telling you about, Scottish bred bitch side, coming through Carndurg, put to Benext Bow to produce her. Again, typical head, not too bully and neither too terrier. Interestingly, Ken used to line the dogs up like this along the streets, oblivious to the neighbours. Nobody seemed to mind. Stafford fanciers used to go down to Parkfield Road every Sunday morning for handling classes in the road. And this little bitch, I think, comes down via Jollyham El Toro and Benext Bow. Culmination of that cross of those two strains. There's Benext Bow again. Remember, he's an old dog here. Let's now go and meet Mr. Angelo Carlini, an old friend of Ken Bailey's.
And he helped me on some matters, and since then we remain quite friendly. At some stage we have fallen out over silly things. I purchased a bitch from Mrs. Ann Gately, which is known as Kerrisdale Debbie Bess, which was a granddaughter of Benext Bow on the dam side. And then I purchased a dog from Ken Bailey, which was Benext Begin of Angel Star, which was a grandson of Benext Bow twice on either side. This was an upright drop system mating by Gartland, Bill and Bonnie Benext. And then I crossed them over and I produced Champion Angel Staff Blue Max. I used to come to Ken and Gwen's house, and I still do from time to time, but in the past I used to come on a regular basis, more or less every other day, or maybe some weeks, sometimes they couldn't get rid of me.
So you've learned a great deal from Ken
I would have thought so. At one stage I even had his front door case. I used to come and go when I liked. And vice versa. Gwen was very, very hospitable. She was a good cook. I used to come here to Scrangerville on numerous occasions. And my kids and my missus used to come down and, you know, sometimes...
So you've been good friends for a number of years.
Yeah, since then, since 1973.
What would you say since 1973? I know you've learned a lot from Ken Bailey and Gwen Bailey, but what would you say is Ken's biggest asset to the game?
Well, I would have, I've seen him judging, and I think he's a very, very good judge, and he's very, very thorough. And all the times I've seen him judging, I never seen him putting unsound animals up. So it makes me think he knows what a sound animal looks like, regardless if you didn't agree with all the things of the animal. But soundness was one of the most and foremost number one for him.
Yeah, well, I know you thought very highly of Gwen, who has since passed on.
That's right, yeah.
But just concentrating on Ken, what would you say is his biggest asset, apart from what he's done with his dogs? What is it about him? What is it? Charisma, or what is it?
Well, I think it's unique. I don't think there's many like him. 1 minute is in cloud 10, and the next minute is down the basement. You know, it's very, you can't pinpoint what you like. Sometimes you like to hate him, but there again, you know that is the way he's made, and you just accept it. You know, you take it or leave it.
So you'd say that the game would be a lot lesser without people like Ken?
Oh yeah, obviously.
Character,
I mean, you always know when he's at the dog show, don't you? Everybody knows he's there, whether he's laughing his head off or he's buying drinks to everybody. And he's very, very generous at the bar. And obviously you always get hangers on. They make sure that when he's at the bar, they're all trying to get a scratch drink off him.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Ange, for your comments about Ken. I'm sure, you know, go on this film, and this film no doubt will be seen by many people, so it just gives people an idea as to what other people think of Ken, apart from what he thinks of himself.
You're welcome.
Thanks very much. Thank you
very much.
Right, Ken, we're now filming. What I'd like to do, if I can, I've covered the Benext story briefly, but what I'd like to do is I'd just like to go back over one or two points with you.
perhaps relate to our viewers some of the more interesting aspects of your days in Staffordshire Bull Terriers. Can I start with Benext Beauty Bee? Or better still, can I start with Pamiranda Christabel?
Oh yes.
That's the mother of Benext Beauty Bee, isn't it?
Yes.
Now then, I've told everybody on the film how you came to acquire Pamiranda Christabel from George Fleming.
Yes.
I haven't made a very in-depth story of it. Perhaps you'd like to enlighten us. What exactly happened?
Well, I've been in the Staffordshire fraternity for quite some years, and when one loses a couple of his bitches and he's out beginning to think that we haven't seen him around, and I was invited through the wife Gwen to visit this particular house where they had a little Staffords. And the chap was rather concerned because he had two daughters, and they wanted to select a puppy for the daughter's birthday because they were twins.
Yeah.
And they said, well, what better than get a chap called Ken Bailey, you know, Gwen Bailey, because his wife being a nurse, we met Gwen, like, they had something in common. I said, oh yeah, we'll pay you a visit. And they said, well please, don't tell Ken at all what's happening. Because George says, I've got something that I want to ask him like that.
Yeah.
So eventually, like me, I didn't know, just got in the car and drove around and told me where this address was, picked this lady up, I hadn't met her before, and we pulled up at this house. And got out and got invited in, shook hands, the greetings, George Fleming, who come from the Midlands. He said, I've heard lots of stuff out there, Mr. Bailey said, call me Ken.
This was in London, though, wasn't it? George Fleming lived?
I think it was somewhere in Peckham somewhere, I think.
Yeah. But he was a Midlander, was he?
Oh yeah.
He was a
from
Midlander,
yeah.
yes.
He had strings from there, his family and that like.
Yeah.
And he said, I've done so much for Staffords, but we don't see him for now. So he said, would you like to have a look at my litter?
Mm.
So I said, yes. So I said, I'm thinking of keeping one for the two girls, and you know. And I was wondering what one you would look at and check them out for me. He said, they're okay. I said, yes. After I went through them, I said, they were a sound litter, like, you know. And they said, is there any particular one that would stand out? I said, oh, there's a nice bitch there. Very nice, dark brindle and white bitch and stuff. And stands all the policies that I've happened to carry it through. So he turned around and said, would you accept it on behalf of my wife? No. So I said, no, I'll pay you for it. So I said, no, Mr. Bailey. No. I said, well, if I can't have it, I won't pay for it. So they said, well, like, give us a minute. So of course they asked when, he said, well, he won't expect something for nothing.
So you had her then?
Yeah, I'll pay for it.
Yeah. And how did she get her name, Ken? Pamiranda Christabel?
It was created through the family, the two girls, the twin girls.
Oh, I see. And their names
one
were?
was named Pan, and the other one was
Christabel?
Christabel.
I see, yeah. Tell me, Ken, I mean, you'd had something of a layoff from Stafford's prior to this, hadn't you?
Oh yes, you cannot recuperate regardless all the brilliant men. If you feel that the time has come where you have a couple of losses like that, it takes a lot to rehabilitate.
So she brought you back on the scene?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes, 100%.
Now then, going on from there, you took Pamiranda Christabel to Gwen Stanleyboy, which is a dog you bred.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, I showed him on this film.
Oh no, yeah.
And you bred him and named him after Gwen, didn't you?
That's right. Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
He was owned by Peter Snow.
That's right.
Yeah. And from that, you got Benext champion, Benext Beauty Bee.
Yes, that was quite right. Yeah.
Now, how many CCs did she take?
She got 3 CCs and I retired her.
Yeah. Can you remember who gave her the CCs? Just offhand?
No, no.
You've run so many, it would be difficult.
Well, you can name them, like, but I feel once you've done it, like, you know.
That's it, yeah.
You've done it, like, you know.
Yeah. So anyway, she took 3 CCs.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
And then, of course, you went on a stage further with Beauty Bee, didn't you?
Oh,
You mated Beauty Bee to Ulsterville Major.
Oh, yes, and that was Ulsterville Major, you see,
Yeah.
although born in Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
He came from the well-known chap, Mr. Craig from Scotland.
Sid Craig.
Sid Craig, yeah, he's a...
Badgerley Affix.
Badgerley, yes.
Yeah.
And we used to Harry arrived at the Badgerley Affix. The time as a young man going out to Belfast from Scotland, like, you know,
Yeah.
in the fraternity of his where he lived, they were saturated with badgers.
Yeah.
So what appropriate name for him using the dogs with the badger lead. He wasn't a cruel man, he was a lovely man, but the dogs had to do the trick and they tried his property.
Yeah.
And he named his prefix as badger lead.
Yeah.
For quite famous.
And that dog was 3 times descended from
Yeah.
Relima Boy.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, from there you used him.
Yes.
Who owned him? Dennis Rowlands?
The chap he called, another chap, he'd originated from Ireland, Dennis Rowlands.
Yeah.
And it's a true story, I'll tell you now.
Yeah.
I like this particular dog because he had a good breeding line, like, you know. And I thought, what an ideal to just to put the finish on a particular product of the Staffordshire, like, you know. Little things that they might be that you might look at and say, yeah, as a perfectionist, you say, I like a tidier ear carriage, or like, you know, the colouring or pigmentation or whatever, like, it's any
Yeah.
things, like, so I decided to use this after Malaysia, and I went down there, Dennis Ryan's cried his eyes out.
He did?
Mate, he said, oh, and his mate, wife, yeah. I said, why have you selected my dog? I said, I have a right to, is he for stud?
Yeah.
He said, won't cost you nothing, Mr. Bailey. I said, it will do. I said, I shall pay the money as everybody has the right to.
And from that mating,
Yes.
you got Benext Story,
Yeah, Benext Story.
or affectionately known by those who knew him as Bruno.
Bruno, yeah.
Bruno.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So, it was it's a definition to the name of Bruno in English, but that I thought it was an appropriate name for the specimen that it was, like, you know.
Yeah. Well, Ken, I know you won't regard this form of questioning impertinent, but I'm sure you'll appreciate that there were a few fanciers who failed to appreciate Bruno or Benext Story's virtuosity and his success. As a direct response to the success that you and Bo were enjoying, a lot of snide remarks were made. Now, what I would like to do on this film is quantify them and clear them up. Because I don't think it's fair, really, that people should be able to make remarks and that you'll never hear them yourself. Other people will, but you won't. Okay, I want to go back to some of these points then. Benext Story was accused of having pins in his legs. That was one of the rumours, the nasty rumours that used to go around. What do you feel about that?
Well, you'll always find the type of people will find the fault with the dog that's in the forefront each show you go to. But the occasion that came one day, I was doing the Midland, going to this Kennel Club show, and Bolton was judging, and Joe Mallon was in the fraternity. And after he got placed and won the show, like Best of Breed, behind the George Wharton, Joe Mallon came in and proved a point. He said, I'll prove a point to all you people that you know about this particular dog. He's the finest specimen ever bred, and likely to be.
What did he do then? to prove
He
the
just
point?
picked up the dog and threw it up the air. And it came down on 4 square.
Oh. So,
And he said, well, beat that, where's the pins?
yeah.
And those all gasped and said, of course the people that made the remarks slunk away, like, you know.
Because I think some of this used to come from the fact that you used to carry him into the ring, didn't
On
you?
the shoulder, yeah, for reasons.
But I mean, yeah, I think I know the reasons, and you obviously do.
Oh,
But
yes.
could you explain what your reasons were?
Well, you always find a chappie round the corner that always let a couple of dogs go loose.
Yeah.
And there's always a chance, when you're in there walking the dog in the ring, there's always that clam on. I'll never give him that chance.
You never give them the chance.
Because
Yeah.
my dog was very fast and I didn't
Yeah.
want to create a thing in a dog show like that. It's only
Yeah.
pugs that do that. I was
Yeah.
respected, and I like to have my dog respected, and I respect the Staffordshire Bull Terrier people.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
That's
that was the
fair.
reason why I always carry him on the shoulder.
Yeah, that's interesting. One of the things I think that you used to do, which some would regard as rubbing salt into the wounds of the exhibitors whose dogs you have beaten with bow,
Yes.
and I have shown it on this film,
I didn't know that.
is in slow motion, in fact, is where you, having taken the CC, you used to put bow above your head
That's right.
like you were in a boxing ring,
That's it.
raising the Lonsdale belt.
Well, that is exactly, yes. That's to prove a point that he was a deserved winner, and with no scruples, and he held his own in good company.
You used to
So-
enjoy that bit.
And yes, that was
Yeah.
the pinnacle of the curtain coming down on the day of a nice day out.
Yeah, that's very interesting. All right, Ken.
Yeah.
Let's go into another area, which some of the snide remarks again that were passed about Bruno, Benext Story.
Yeah.
I've often heard it said, although I know it's not true, I've often heard it said that he wasn't any good as a sire. His bloodline was useless because he never produced anything. What do you say about that?
Oh, well, you see, you get the fraternity of people coming into Staffers, and the gospel is preached, but they don't know the facts. But if they only done their research on our breed and the individuals, especially in the south, you'll find that yes, I can name quite a few.
Well, could you?
Oh, yes.
Go on then. Show us that the memory's still as good as it
Well,
was.
take it for instance, you got champion Mallorcan Cyclone, you got champion Mallorcan's Whirlwind, you got Crown the Yard Mere Day, you got the other ones. These are all grandson of all these. Angel Staff Blue Max, Ben Hur, Bobenhammer Gambler, Scarthwaite Reamer. You go kind of the old Jake the Rake. You go further on and you go Dunbritton, Baldy Thompson, Walk Out of Ironstone, Midday Wonder of Angel Staff.
Now, Dunbritton Baldy Thompson was a
Yes.
useful sire himself, wasn't he?
Yes, oh
He
yes.
produced a couple of champions,
Yes,
didn't
that's
he?
true. That's true. Yeah.
So really, there's a lot of stock come down via Benext Story. So really, anybody making that sort of allegation today to somebody new to the breed would be totally without any credibility.
Well, the latest one has been Benext Black Beauty. I mean, everybody looks at her and they admire her, and that's still.
Now, you've got her, haven't you?
Yes. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd like to see her shortly. Perhaps
Yes.
we could put her on the film.
Oh yes. Yeah.
That should be interesting.
Yes. Yes.
All right, Ken, that clears that little point up. Let's see, what else can I ask you? How many CCs did he win? Bruno, Benext Story?
18.
18 CCs.
Yes.
And reserve CCs?
12.
And best of breeds?
14.
That's quite a record. And it is the record, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Do you think anybody will ever break that record?
Not in my lifetime.
What about, do you think, I mean, you've been breeding for a number of years, we know, since Bruno died, and do you think you will ever achieve that success again? Do you think you'll ever get another Bruno?
Well, when one's accomplished one's outlook in life, you never take the second bite of the cherry.
So you're happy with what you've done?
Yes.
That's a
It's
good
the
answer.
pinnacle of the Staffordshire.
Yeah.
Nothing dog, as it was reckoned as, but now he's the pinnacle of all the. He's the top terrier for you know, the world, I should think,
Of all time?
of all time.
Yeah. What age did you lose him, Ken?
Oh yes, he must be coming up to 12 years old.
12 years old. That was a great loss for you, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah. One, you never get another. You never get another dog like that. Such like a famous racehorse or a famous runner, swimmer, any sportsman. It hurts bad, and you have to pick up the pieces. Unfortunately, he's probably in the kennels that I can pick on even today. And it's nice to know other chaps like the younger element, like the young fellas that are around me. They're like even yourself.
Yeah.
You've got that outlook now that you've achieved something through being exposed. It's lovely to hear it. A lot of people haven't got the gall to mention it, but from the south, yes, I'm pleased, really pleased, because the stock is there. They know what to get hold of, and they're very good in assessing the situation, how they're breeding. And I like that very much. I'm not saying nothing about it.
Yeah. Because he won twice the Staffordshire Bull Terrier Club, didn't he?
The only dog ever to do such a thing.
That's 2 years running.
Yeah.
He won the CC and Best of Breed
Yes.
at the Parent Club.
Yes. Under Malcolm Bone and George Wharton.
Malcolm Bone and George Walton. That's very interesting. He also won the centenary plaque, didn't he, at Crufts? That was 1973, wasn't it?
Oh yes, yes. That
Gwen
was,
Dudley?
yes, Gwen Dudley. There was a lot of pressure throughout the country, and it's lovely for the Kennel Club to expose this challenge.
Yeah.
And of course the talk of the different clubs up and down the country, and it was a huge entry. And on the day, the amount of, it was a wonderful entry, and the people that were there around the ringside was astronomical.
Could we see that plaque?
Oh yes, certainly, yes, it's available. Not many people have the privilege, yes. You're quite welcome to see it, yes. Be my guest.
Do you think you'll ever make an award of this plaque to any of the breed clubs, Ken? To be given out annually as a trophy or anything?
Well, it's a debatable point at this stage. There's two or three things, major things, emblems that I've had in the past that I'd like to hand on for the benefit of the breed, but it's got to be discussed with two or three sensible people and see that it's done correctly. And there'll be reservations that I should put to them to maintain of what will happen to the trophies once I present them. As you say, it could be that I will just do that.
Ken, what would you say is the most highly regarded, the big highlight of your career in Stafford's? What is the highest point for you out of all the things you've done? What is your highest point? The thing you've most enjoyed?
Enjoying judging crafts.
You enjoyed judging crafts. Was that the high point?
Oh yeah, when you see our Queen walking around with Duke of Edinburgh.
Yeah. Did you meet the Queen on that
Oh
occasion?
yeah, I met the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh.
That's nice. And Ken, of all the things you've had happen to you, what is the saddest thing that's happened, that you've had happen?
Well, the heartbreaks of losing your dogs, and you can't replace them.
Any particular dog in mind?
Well, there was Lady Lucy, Beauty Bee, the Benext Story. But I always want to tell everybody, for God's sake, always have another couple of dogs running in the house, because that'll break down heartbreak. Never leave you to leave, have one Stafford or two, have two or three if you can afford it.
Which of those, Ken? Which of those dogs?
Well,
Which meant most to you?
Oh, well,
I know all your dogs mean a lot to you.
yeah, but regardless
which
of,
one meant the most?
well, as I say, you can count the three there as all level. I couldn't discriminate, Ron.
You couldn't discriminate.
No, I wouldn't do that. It's wrong to do so.
Yeah.
But there is all well loved and good animals.
Now, in this photograph, Ken, you're with Joe Mellon, the great Joe Mellon.
Yes.
He's holding Bruno.
Yeah.
Presume he went over Bruno, did he?
Oh yes, yes. He's always
What did he think of him?
well, he said that he's always been on his mind since he first met him for the first time, and he said he was the nearest to gentleman Jim. Although Jim was all round bigger than dog than him, round 17 inches, 17 and a half.
Yeah.
But he said the actual standard what was arrived at was being exposed to perfection.
Photograph, Ken, this is Crufts 1973 when you
Yes.
won the
Yeah.
centenary plaque.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's who's our judging? Gwen,
Gwen
Dudley?
Gwen Dudley, yeah.
and that's Walter Watson with one of the Sandville bitches.
One of his Sandville bitches, yeah.
And you got best of breed that
Yes,
day,
that's it,
and you
yeah.
got the centenary plaque.
Yeah.
So this photo means quite a lot to you.
Oh yes, yeah.
This photograph, Ken, this is at the Bear Garden, not the Bear Gardens, this is the California dog fight,
That's a
isn't
bush
it?
theatre.
Bush Theatre, that's what I was trying to do, not Bear Gardens.
No, it's a bush theatre.
And you had a couple of your dogs in that. You had Bosun and Jenny, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
Benext Bosun and Benext Beauty. Jenny, my name. Her name was Jenny, a pet name.
Yeah.
Benext Black Beauty. And well, I was approached about it to if I would be prepared to have two of my dogs selected to do acting as the part of the play.
This was the California dog fight, yeah, the play. And so you took two dogs along?
Well, it wasn't as easy as that, Ron. Research had to be done,
Yeah.
and the background work, what I must inform you on, but I wouldn't. They approached me, yes, but I had to I also get a clearance from the RSPCA,
Yeah.
and so that there was no infringement on the public that was going there, and I would oversight it personally, the taking and the fetching of my dog.
Point, I asked Ken what he would have to say about the rumours of alleged cruelty and that the dogs were doped that featured in the play.
Oh yes, well, again, they never got the right story because on the introduction of the rehearsals, I demanded that I wanted the RSPCA, the governing body RSPCA, and the Bush Theatre on doing rehearsals. And if they decided to withdraw the dogs, I was immediately to do so, and I would have done.
Yeah. And I actually went and saw the play myself.
Yes.
Funny enough, with a complimentary ticket furnished by your good self. But it did look as though the dog was doped, but that was a dummy, wasn't it?
That was that.
It wasn't a real dog.
No.
No. And that's probably where the story grew from somebody who thought they were doing, dogs well.
Well, it was passed on to the papers and then, but to follow up with this really ridiculous statement to be made, because I, for one, would never deprive any of my dogs of being any
I know
cruelty.
that.
And I emphasise that at all times I'll be there to oversight it. And I was with my dogs, not some of the time, but all the times, every act they was there, I was taking care of it.
And I believe they gave you a present, didn't they? Because you gave all the money to the RSPCA.
Well, what I demanded, they wanted to pay me for my appearances for the dogs.
Yeah.
I said, no way will I accept any money regarding that at all. What I did insist on, that a collection could be made on behalf of the RSPCA, with the greatest body of help that they get to give to people, would be donated to the RSPCA with my compliments.
Yeah.
And,
But they did give you a present for the dogs, which was...
Well, I did receive it under protest, but they had it made specially from a colleague of mine in the Midlands, and they were the one for Benext Bosun. That was one for Benext Bosun, and that one's for my other bitch, Jenny.
And that was made by Phil Tilt,
Phil Tilt from Birmingham.
a famous collar man from the
And
Midlands.
yeah, and he had the privilege and the pleasure to make it for me, and he loved every minute of it.
Yeah, rather nice. And I believe they're engraved.
They are engraved with the California dog fight and the year, and also the name of the dog.
Photograph coming up, we see Ken with 7 of his Staffords. Some of these are still with him today, and we're about to take a look at them. So come with me into the present.
This is one of the old girls. This is
Oh, yeah.
Benext Babs, yeah?
Yes, that's it, yeah.
And how does she come?
She got out of Benext Bow,
She's out of Benext Bow.
yeah.
And how old is she?
And she come up to 15 now.
15.
Yes.
Let's have a look at that beautiful head. Let's have a look at you, darling.
Yeah.
That's it, we've got her, Oh, that's lovely, yeah, that's lovely. Thank you, Ken. Now this one is Granite Fields Bosie. She's out of Genghis Khan on the sires side, and on the dam side she's out of Granite Fields Bosie, who is a daughter of Benext Bow. So again we see more of the Benext Bow influence, as you can see in that head. There, that's typical Benext Bow influence. And how old is she, Ken?
She's 14 years of age.
14 years of age.
Yeah.
Beautiful little bitch. There's a good girl. Pretty lady. Good girl. This bitch is Granite Field Black Narcissus,
Yes.
who is by Devil's Dyke and
Yes.
Granite Field's Black Orchid.
Yeah. It's given to me by Ethnic Fury.
And she's a bitch
On
that
my
you've
visit there.
brought back from Ireland.
As a present. We're going out for a walk. Yes, you are a good girl, aren't you? Yes, you are.
This is Benext Black Beauty. She's 4, isn't she?
Yes.
4 years of age.
Yeah.
And she's out of Champion Angel Staff Blue Max,
Yes, yes.
who again comes down via Champion Benext Bow.
Yeah, yeah.
And the dam side is Granite Fields breeding.
That's right, yeah. That's right, yeah.
And she is your current bitch, which you're serving pups from at the moment,
right, yeah,
isn't she?
right, yeah,
And
yeah.
she's had a couple of litters since you
Yes,
came.
oh, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, let's just have a close up of her head.
Cool Jenny.
Jenny, there's a lovely girl. There's a beautiful girl. And that is Jenny. That's Benext Black Beauty. And this one, Ken, is Crestwell Lady of
Yeah.
Benext.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And how old is she?
She's coming up to 5. 4, I should think. 4, yeah.
Now, you've just had a litter from her,
Yeah, yeah.
and you've got a puppy, I believe,
Yes,
out of her.
Yeah, that'll be,
That'll be by Bosun,
Bosun, yes.
who we'll see in a minute, the
Yes,
red dog.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Okay,
Good
lovely,
stuff,
Ken,
good stuff.
lovely, that's beautiful.
Keep still. Keep still.
And that's Benext Bow Selected.
Yeah. Oh, this isn't, no.
Oh no, the puppy is
Yeah,
Benext
oh,
Bow
yeah.
Selected. This is Crestwell Lady of Benext. If we get a quick look at her head.
Come on, call her on. I get on with it. Yeah.
Right, Ken, now this is Bosun. What's
Yeah.
his kennel name?
Phoenix Bosun.
Benext Bosun.
Bosun, yeah.
Yeah, and he is grandson of Bruno, Benext Bow.
Phoenix Bow, yes.
Yeah. How old is he, Ken?
He's coming up to 4 years old.
Yeah. And he is the sire of the puppy we're going to see in a minute, but
Yes,
with the bitch
yeah,
that we've just
yeah.
seen.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's got 500 or 600 puppies.
Yes.
Keeps that miserable boy.
I have seen one or two out of him that are quite nice, actually.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who is it? Come on. Hey, hey, come on. This way.
Bosun,
Call him. Come on. Who is it?
and this is Benext Bosun,
Yeah.
grandson of the famous Benext Bow.
Yeah.
And this one, Ken, is
Benext Bow selected.
Benext Bow Selected, and she's by the two we've just seen. That's
Yes,
Benext
that's it.
Bosun and Crestwell Lady of
Yeah.
Benext.
Yeah.
Yes. And how old is she, Ken?
She's coming up now to 7 weeks, 8 weeks.
7 weeks, 8 weeks of age.
Yeah.
Yes.
is for Tigreen Red Soldier at Dunbritton, owned in partnership between Mr. Danny Gilmore and Mr. Terry Giles. Here you see the dog standing in the flesh. He is a sire of puppies already. He's a best of breed winner. He's had a few best of breeds. He's a championship show winner, Crufts qualifier. If you're interested in using this dog at stud, he is by champion Benext Story of Dunbritton and Maglium Lady Penny of Tigreen. Got a good bite and he's entire. If you're interested, telephone Terry Giles on 01 857 7484. Now progresses back to 1964. Judge Charlie Townsend, and there's Bruce Nichols handling Marble Spring Gondolier. And that lady taking that little girl there, it's Eileen Nichols. There's Larry Lunn there sitting in the chair with the sheepskin coat on. And this is the Southern Counties Championship show. There's Ken Bailey with Mav Cairns. Ken was steward on this occasion. And as I say, this was the Southern Counties Championship show. There's Gwen behind the counter there, serving Major Estland with a cup of tea. There's Gwen Bailey there. Always did a lot of work for the Southern Counties on the catering side. And this show was held at Manor Place Bars near the Elephant and Castle. Here you see some of the dogs. That's Miss Morris doing the stewarding. We might be able to pick out some of the dogs. I'm afraid I can't help you on that one as to who that is. There's Bill Lunn next to the board there taking notes. This is Rosemary Linnell's Ready Argo, Miss Fitch's Marble Spring Gondolier, handled by Bruce Nichols, as he was. Incidentally, Ready Argo took a CC at the LKA under Nat Cairns. He was a smallish dog, certainly no bigger than 15 inches. My recollections of him anyway. Now, I can't speak with any certainty here, but I think that is Barbara Lacey, that lady there. And I think the dog could be Martha's faithful lad. Don't hold me to that, I think it is. And I'm afraid I can't help with the rest of the lineup. We're doing this in slow motion so as you can get a clearer idea of some of these dogs. Now that dog sitting down there is Grimford Drumbeat. That's Frank Burford with Grimford Drumbeat, champion Grimford Drumbeat. Notice there weren't many people at these shows. Not what we expect today. There's Grimford Drumbeat, Ready Argo. I believe that dog to be Jubilant of Jollyhem, the brindle dog. And that dog, I think, is, no. Well, there's Dennis Rowlands anyway. That's Dennis Rowlands going up for a cup of tea. And the dog you just saw was Vic Crew, that was. The dog that came up just then. That would have been this one, of course, is Camdonian Contender, with Len Masterman handling him. And Len Masterman was married to Gwen Morris, his sister, Muriel. They have Grimford Drumbeat, Ready Argo, and I think Camdonian Contender wins the class with Drumbeat coming second. Well, now we progress to the next part of our story. This gentleman being Terry Giles. He's an international all-round judge, championship show level. He's an exhibitor, and he's a good friend of Ken Bailey's. And now he's going to impart a few little gems to us about Ken Bailey.
You've known Ken now for some 20 odd years.
Yeah,
What would it be? 22 years?
yeah, I was introduced to Ken in the early part of 1965.
Yeah.
I'd already seen that in 1964 the club championship show. with
That'd be
Charlie-
the show which I've just put on the
Yeah,
film.
it was Charlie Townsend.
Charlie
judged.
Townsend judging. Yeah.
Vi Russ was the one. I met Vi Russ, Jimmy Russ's wife, in the
Yeah.
park,
Yeah.
and she told me where the show was being held,
Mm.
whereabouts. I made my way over there. Lo and behold, I saw Ken in the ring acting as chief steward, or
Yeah.
one of the stewards.
One of the stewards, yeah.
You know, but with Ken, he tends to dominate the ring, and that was the first time I'd ever seen him.
Hmm. And then going on from there, you became friendly with Ken?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
Same year, wasn't it? Or was it year after?
no, it was the early part of '65. It was the thing was with once you got into his company, you was made more than welcome to go over there, and it was open house for most of the younger, newer owners coming into the breed, and with Gwen Bailey's hospitality being legendary, all roads led to Parfield Road.
Yeah.
I spent many an happy hour over there.
And no doubt you you knew Pamarandi Christabel. She would have been about
Oh,
2
yeah, yeah.
when
yeah,
you
yeah.
was introduced to her.
Yeah, yeah. There's nothing like seeing a dog in its own environment. And she was a nice type of bitch. Had one or two obvious faults, i.e. her front leg wasn't very good. Her feet left something to be desired, and plus she had the kiss of death at that particular time to a certain extent now. Her mouth left wasn't 100%.
Was she undershot?
Yeah, in my opinion, yeah. She was
would have,
undershot.
yeah.
But on the plus side, she had beautiful ear carriage, lovely round eye, very good clean body lines, and for me, good length of leg.
And you also knew Beauty Bee.
Yeah, I knew Beauty Bee very well. Yeah, I went to quite a few shows with Ken when she was being campaigned.
And do you remember where you got CC'd with her?
I can remember, I think he got one under Nat Cairns, and I know he got one under either, I think it was Lionel Stock.
Well, it saves me looking that up.
Yeah.
So, taking it a stage further, you knew Beauty Bee, and you also knew Ulsterville Major, the dog that was put with Beauty Bee to produce Benext Story.
Yeah. In actual fact, I was the first one in England to use Ulsterville Major.
Yeah. What sort of dog was he?
He was a good sort of, in my opinion, he was a good sort of dog. That never made the best of himself in the ring. He once I seen him in his own environment, he was more on his toes.
Yeah.
But in the ring, it's very hard, as you know, to bring a dog out if it's not that way inclined.
Would I be correct in assuming that his coloration and his markings were very similar to Benext Story?
Yeah, it was very flashily marked. Plenty of white on the head, and on the body and the legs. Nice mahogany colour.
Would he have been a similar stamp, size-wise, to Benext Story?
No, not exactly. No,
He was a much coarser dog.
Yeah, he was more rugged, more
Yeah.
roughish sort of a dog, which is
Yeah.
one of the things that appealed to me.
So what was his
Plus
height?
breeding. I would think he was sort of 15 and a half, about 15 and a half inches. But that most of the comments about the dog revolved around his weight.
His weight?
There was a bit of a dispute about how much the dog weighed. And
Yeah.
Jimmy Russ, who was a master butcher and a very, very good dog person, settled it one day by inviting us all round, plus Dennis and the dog, and we went through the back of the butcher shop.
Well, Jimmy had, I think you ought to explain, Jimmy was a master butcher.
Oh yeah, he had his own, he had 2 or 3 butcher shops.
He was also a Smithfield judge, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was
At the agricultural show then?
Judge livestock.
Yeah.
He was good livestock man all the way around,
Yeah.
in my opinion anyway. and he also admired the dog.
Yeah.
And to settle any dispute, we, as I say, about 5 of us went to the shop, including Dennis and the dog, and weighed the dog, or Jimmy weighed the dog on the big master scales, and the dog came out exactly £40.
Yeah. I see.
Which
So-
didn't deter me from using him.
No, you used him yourself on Jessica Courageous.
Jessica Courageous.
How did she come?
She was on a top line, size line, mainly Lynxbury breeding,
Yeah.
which Ulsterville Major had on his breeding as well.
Yeah. And what did you get from that? Was you
I
weren't successful there?
I've got 4 pups, and I've really lost track of them.
Yeah.
Because it was my first litter, I didn't really know anybody apart from, say, Ken and Jimmy.
Yeah.
I hadn't really got into the swing of things,
Yeah. Yeah.
for want of a better expression.
Yeah. Going on from there, did you see the litter that was the result of the cross between Benext Beauty B and Ulsterville Major?
No. I can remember going to a wedding at Brixton Town Hall
Yes.
and having to break away from the reception to phone from a call box to ask had she had her pups.
Yeah.
When I was there, I was putting in coins, the old penny coins, press button B to get Gwen to find out how many pups, or was the bitch all right.
Yeah. Yeah. And how many pups?
I believe one. I believe that was Bo.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
The
believe
others,
so.
the others died, or
That I can't remember.
no?
That I can't
But
remember.
there was only one.
Yeah, it was only one.
One live specimen
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
where-
which turned out to be Bo.
Which was very fortunate for Ken and Gwen, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you judged being exposed subsequently, I believe.
Yeah, I judged him. My second Staffordshire Bull Terrier show.
That was an open show.
Yeah,
yes.
an unbenched open show.
And what did you do for him?
Yeah, I gave him best of breed.
He won numerous tickets. by
Yeah, I
then.
think he'd had about six tickets, 6 CCs by then.
Yeah, yeah.
I gave him best of breed.
And you also judged him in 1973 at the Southern Counties
Yeah,
Championship.
my first championship show. I did the dogs.
Where did you put him then?
I didn't place the dog.
Didn't place him.
No.
What would you say is, in your opinion, Ken's great qualities to the breed?
His enthusiasm.
His enthusiasm.
Yeah, if you bear in mind that when he came into the breed, it was the 50 shilling dog,
Yes.
and it was rough and ready, and he's seen it through the bad times and the good times, and he would never let anybody say a derogatory word about the breed.
Yeah.
Whereas he could have, I mean, the situation he is, and as well known as he is, he could easily go out and go into another breed,
Yeah.
which I'm sure was the same success. But he's always stayed with the Staffordshire Bull Terrier through thick and thin.
So would I be correct in assuming that throughout Benext Beau's show career, you used to accompany Ken and Gwen to the shows?
Oh yeah.
You've seen him take most of his
I
CCs?
probably went more than Gwen did, actual fact, because Gwen was very much the backroom girl.
Yeah.
And her hospitality was sort of legendary, and she never knew when Ken was going to bring back a coach full of people,
Yeah.
which he did on several occasions,
Yeah.
which is another plus. You know, if you're a friend of somebody, you're more than welcome. Yeah, I saw him pick up most of his CCs, I would say, and
Do you think they were well earned?
yeah, I think they was well earned. I don't think you're ever going to see the likes of Ken and Bo in the ring again. The atmosphere they used to generate, well, nothing short of sensational.
You think sensational?
Well, let's put it this way, everybody knew he was there, and Bo was there.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks very much, Terry.
Well, now our story progresses to the year 1979. This is the Southern Counties Canine Association Championship Show, which is held at Hickstead, venue in Sussex. And the judge on this occasion was Vic Pounds, seen there. And the first dog we're going to see is Champion Angel Staff Blue Max. And incidentally, he was to get the CC on this occasion, which was his first. Angel Staff Blue Max was out of Benext Begin of Angel Staff, and Kerrysdale Debbie Bess. And Kerrysdale Debbie Bess came down through some of Mrs. Gattenby's breeding. That's Angel Staff Blue Max you're looking at. Mrs. Gattenby had a bitch by the name of Little Miss Cinders, who was by Benext Bow. So Benext Bow featured twice on this dog's pedigree, once on the side and once on the dam side. And this dog is called Ottenbury Lancer Prince. And the next dog we're going to see is Phil Cate's I Am Tiramus. Phil Cate was past chair in the Southern Counties, since died. This one is Kaluki Duke, Champion Kaluki Duke. There he is again. I'll put a still on for you. Kaluki Duke again. PJ Sampson Agonistes, owned by Mr. and Mrs. Loughborough, this one. This one's Pitbull Red Regent, International Champion, owned by Ken Pensome. This dog won a lot of tickets. There we have Angel Staff Blue Max again. He's just won the first prize, I think. He's won his class. He was in one of the lower classes, or the middle classes. Now we're looking at an open dog lineup. And you see there's Jerry Dickens with Kaluki Duke. And I think in the final lineup, this one is... Yes, this is Malcolm Bone with Black Tusker. That was Champion Black Tusker. There we see Black Tusker in second there. And that's the final lineup, Kaluki Duke third. The steward had put them around the wrong way, so Ken Pensome won that class, Black Tusker second, Kaluki Duke third. All champion dogs. Now this one, I think, is Bobon Amber Gambler. Yes, that's Bobon Amber Gambler. Champion bitch again, a bitch that comes down via Benext Bow. There she is moving. And this bitch got the CC bitch ticket. And now we are going for the best of breed, and well, we're going for the CC. There's Black Tusker there. I don't know who that one is. There's Angie Carlini with Angel Staff Blue Max, and Ken Pensome with Pitbull Red Regent, and Angie Carlini has been given the CC. He's won the CC with Angel Staff Blue Max. Now we go for best of breed, which Angel Staff Blue Max won. Bobon Amber Gambler was best bitch. Moving now, this is after. This is Angel Staff Blue Max, Benext Bow and Amber Gambler, Bobon Amber Gambler. There's an old picture of Bruno, Benext Bow, who's an old dog. Now this one, third in the line here, is Vic Pounds with Kerrysdale Orchid Fantasy, Champion Bitch, and a daughter of hers, handled by Betty Pounds. Now we progress to the present, and I'm currently filming a dog, none other than Champion Angel Staff Blue Max. The dog here is 10 years of age. And he was born on the 4th of the 6th, 1977. You see a good head profile of him there. And he was out of Benext Begin of Angel Staff and Kerrysdale Debbie Bess. The dog acquired his CCs, his first in 1979 under Vic Pounds at the show we've just seen. Then he received another one at Welks under Ken Bailey 1979, and his third one, making him a champion, under Horace Dunn at the LKA in 1980. He also got a CC at Crufts under George Down, when George Downs judged a few years ago. He's owned by Angelo and Carol Carlini, and incidentally he's no longer at stud. And the main purpose, of course, in showing you this is to show you that the Benext bow factor still exists even today. It's being passed down through the line. This dog, of course, would be considered on the smaller side of the standard. Not a big dog, 15-ish in height, but a very sort of standard dog, well within the standard perimeters on height and weight at the time of which he was being exhibited. Now this takes us on to the Southern Counties Canine Association Championship show again, a few years ago when Mr. Bolton judged. And here you see Ken Bailey exhibiting a bitch, not his own, but he's doing it for somebody else. And I put this on just to demonstrate that he is currently still in the ring competing at the highest levels. And on this occasion, he got a reserve, so it shows you that he doesn't win all the time. The bitch we're about to see is, I think, Rocelio Miss Supreme form bitch. She won the CC this day. On the left, Kendrick Abandon, Wardrum Dixie Queen, Whiteberry Staff of Life, and Harry Coble's Constone's Ria Rita. Go through them again. Kendrick Abandon, Wardrum Dixie Queen. Not sure the next one in blue. The next one, Whiteberry Staff of Life. Now we're back at 76 Parkfield Road with the Yorkshire Terriers, which Ken and Gwen also breed. I must say that this film has been most interesting to make, and I must thank Ken Bailey for cooperating in the manufacture of this film. There's Gwen, and this film, of course, is dedicated to the memory of the late Gwen Bailey. In 1987, Ironstone Video Productions will be presenting